Okay, we're live. Hey, kia ora everybody.
Hey everyone, good to be with you.
Okay.
Here in Wellington.
Yeah, windy Wellington, and it's a little bit windy, and we've got the big house behind us, and I've just done the opening remarks at the human rights rally in at the Beehive this afternoon, and it was fantastic. I'd like to show and mention my gratitude to Colin Whiteman for putting this event on, and it's just so important that we know as in New Zealand that there is hope. We can defeat this tyrannical government, and we've got sitting MPs like my co-leader here, Jamie Lee Rice, who delivered an amazing speech yesterday opposing the amendments to the COVID-19 health response bill and what they're wanting to do with inbound New Zealanders. Jamie Lee, just on that, could you just explain exactly what that was about yesterday that you did?
Hey, good to be with you all. I think this is my first time live on the NZPP page here with Billy. It was good to show Billy a bit around the Parliament. You may see our photo on the floor of the debating chamber. Our job, everyone, is to keep the movement going and make sure that Billy and other people that support fixing our country get to sit in that chamber to try and change things for the better for all people in New Zealand. So yesterday the government, under urgency, with no consultation at all, rushed through the Parliament some amendments to the COVID-19 Public Health Response Bill. Now, you may remember that as the bill that allows for some very draconian things. So, the mandatory isolation, the mandatory vaccinations, the mandatory detention, the mandatory entry into your home without a warrant that police officers can do, that's all covered under that bill. Now, what the government did yesterday was they rushed through some more changes to that bill, and I think they've made it even worse. Before they had a power to say you had to turn up for a test, now they have the power to say you have to turn up for a test at any point in time where we tell you to, and we're going to force you to undergo that test. They've also put in place a power to allow them to charge you if you're returning to New Zealand. Now, I know that's there's a whole lot of people that think people returning should be charged. I happen to think we shouldn't, but here's the horrible thing around what they've done. What they've done is they've said, if you come back to New Zealand, even if you're a New Zealander, they have the power to charge you to go into managed isolation. On top of that, they have the power to make you have a test. This isn't just some swab in your mouth. This is some invasive procedure where they put a testing kit all the way pretty much to the back of your head. It is a medical procedure. If you refuse to take that medical procedure, you're breaking the law. But here's the worst part about it. Because they're going to be charging you to effectively detain you, they're going to charge you financially. There's a financial penalty now if you exercise your human rights to say no to a medical procedure. What's happened to our country where the government passes laws giving themselves the power to force you to take a medical procedure and then will charge you money if you don't continue that? Because Jacinda Ardern said, if you don't take the test, if you don't undergo the medical procedure, they can force you to stay in detention. That's wrong, it's against people's human rights, and it's the very reason why I voted against it. I was the only member of Parliament to speak against this. The National Party, New Zealand First, Greens, they all supported the government with these new draconian powers, and I think it's appalling. They've also done some other things like extending the COVID-19 public health bill. It means it's going to continue in force. All of these awful powers that they've put in place, they're still there. They're going to be continuing, and they're making it worse.
Unbelievable. So you know what, I'm seeing a lot of the comments that are coming up, and you know what, yep, you've got two brothers in there. One's in there already, hopefully one will be in there shortly. In fact, I totally believe that I'm going to be. We're going to work for you guys. We're going to fight the fight, because there's no way that I want my children to live in the kind of New Zealand Aotearoa that they want to build. It's not who we are as a people. It's not historically who we are and what we want in our country, and it's certainly not what we want in the future lives of New Zealanders that are going to be born in the future. That's what Jamie Lee and I are both about. We're about choice, we're about democracy, we're about stopping foreign interference in our country, we're about stopping and repealing any types of agreements that don't serve the people of New Zealand, period, full stop. Protecting our environment, fixing our economy, and for me, for Te Tai Tokiro, for Northland Māori seat, I'm about finally being in there with my sleeves rolled up, working for our people in Northland, because we've got whānau up there sleeping in tree huts, sleeping in cow sheds, sleeping in tents, cars, you name it, garages that are cold in the middle of winter right now. and we don't have an MP up there who gives enough to deliver anything. And that's Labour, that's this government. Everything they've promised that they will deliver, they haven't. Everything. I can't think of what they've done other than randomly hand out money through New Zealand First. I can't think of anything. And on the subject of New Zealand First, they're the ones that brought in that internet censorship bill. Tracy Martin, New Zealand First MP, she brought that in, so now they can decide what they define as objectionable that you put on your website or your Facebook, and they just, you know, give you 3 warnings. If you don't take it down, then they'll fine you up to $200,000, and that's not what democracy is about. We're not talking about the silly things that you know, and evil things that people want to put up there, photos of terrorism and war pornography, any of that stupid stuff. We're not saying that. That's got to go and shouldn't be allowed on. But what if you say something and I say something that about just the end of the day they don't like, or the government? Do they threaten me and remove what I want to say? That's not free speech. And that's why I always say to people, you've got the right to disagree with me. You've got the right to do that, and I would defend your right to do that. You know, where I've got a problem is when people lie about me or use foul language on my page. I don't like that, and so that's when you get deleted. But I will defend your right to have your free speech, and that's what needs to happen. So anyway, so Jamie Lee and I, we're on the campaign trail next week in Te Tokiro. We're going to be doing key events all across New Zealand in the main centres. We need you to come to those, but most importantly, we need you to register and enrol to vote so you can, and to get out there and vote, advance New Zealand in your party vote. We need to do that. We need to defend our country. Any last words, Jamie Lee?
Yep, the campaign's ramping up. We're printing signs and flyers right now. It's happening. They're rolling off the press. You would have seen Billy's ones yesterday on the page. We really need loads of people to offer up a fence or some land around New Zealand where you can host one of our signs. We have to get the message out there. So if you want an advanced New Zealand sign on your property, or you can have it on your fence, or you can help deliver some flyers, can you send us an email? info@advancenz.org. info@advancenz.org. We need your help. We can't do this without you. This is a people movement, and people power is going to make sure we can change the government and change the country for the better.
Awesome. Thanks, Jamie Lee. And just remember, for all you guys in Te Tai Tokiro Māori seat, you have to register and be registered on the Māori seat. You vote for me, Billy Te Kahika, as your candidate. Oh, we better say goodbye. I'm running out of... We'll see you soon. Love you all. Take care.
Bye.
See you guys. Bye.